Shalom, 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 shalom. Before we even get started in this listen, first and foremost, want to start by giving all praises and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rakah, HaKadash. Secondly, want to give double honors to the Elders Apostles and Elder Bishops, a great millstone who rule well and worthy of double honors. And third and lastly, want to give salutations to all the Akim, that's all the hopeful elect that pushing forth this word and this truth in righteousness and in sincerity diligently throughout the four corners. Shalom, 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 shalom. Brother Hakah of GMS South Carolina Midlands branch back with another listen, another video here. And this video, as y'all can see, is entitled Not All Israelites Have Spiritual Eyes, man. And it's from GMS, what it is right here. GMS Shapar Rakah. All right. Okay. You know. And pretty much, man, this video, I seen like the opener of this video here. I didn't watch the whole video. I just probably watched a couple of minutes of the video and I'm like, yeah, I got to go and I got to do a listen. So I ain't even watched the brother whole video. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Just giving y'all a little drop back, you know what I'm saying, before I hit the play button here. You know what I'm saying? A caller call in on Captain Desariac. And y'all know this is Captain Desariac from ISUPK. Another camp, another Hebrew Israelite camp that goes off on a doctrine. The same camp that say they serve a nigga God. All right, you know, okay, they're a nigga. We serve a nigga God. All right, the same niggas that said no cowards. Same niggas that said that John the Baptist fall out of the truth, man. All right, same niggas that say that you can have sex on the Sabbath. Yeah, these guys right here, man. All right, you know, these guys stay going off, you know what I'm saying, in the scriptures. Even if you got 85, 90% of the doctrine correct, if you off 10% and you don't have the 100%, your whole doctrine is off, man. It don't matter if you have all the breakdowns, but you go off on a breakdown pertaining to the C-hip. All right, the mark of the beast, which is a charagma, which is a physical incision that Esau is going to use to implant in your right hand or your forehead, going back to Revelation 13, 16, and 17, which the technology is already here. And these clowns so fucking blind at the end of the day. But you will have ISUPK, they'll tell you that the mark of the beast is sin. All right, you know, or the mark of the beast is sleeping with the white woman. You know what I'm saying? The mark of the beast is a embargo. Everything they're gonna give you all that. They're gonna give you all the false answers, man. All right, you know, wrong answers at the end of the day, as usual. But nevertheless, a caller call in, and it's something basic right here, man. You know, these guys, like I said, they're not spiritual at the end of the day, man. You know, these dudes think that all the Hebrew Israelites gonna come back looking the same. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, just because you don't look like a prototypical Hebrew Israelite, you know, looking like you think you're looking like Michael Jordan, all right, Wesley Snipes, you ain't a Hebrew Israelite. You know what I'm saying? If you say your father line go back to the Italians, like this caller right here called in and he pretty much, you know, was telling Captain Zariak that he listened to him. Pretty much he agreed with a lot of the doctrine that they be pushing. But he said, according to y'all doctrine, he said, if due to the fact that the caller think he's not a Hebrew Israelite because his father is an Italian. Now, not knowing that, you know what I'm saying, you have Israel, the men of Israel, because your nationality is determined through the seed of your father. Israel done spread their seed throughout all the nations of women, man. All right. You know, ain't no damn woman a Hebrew Israelite ain't conquered. Ain't no woman a Hebrew Israelite. When I say woman, I'm talking about women of the other heathen nations that didn't carry our seed. We have seed with all the women of all the heathen nations, man, going from the beginning of time, man. Since we, you know, before we was Hebrew Israelites, we were sons of God, man. We was always that chosen line, but back then we was that, you know, so that chosen line, the sons of God, sons of Yashala. Hey, we still was. You know what I'm saying? When they talking about the giants, you know what I'm saying? When we seen the, you know, we look down upon the women and the other nations and turn around and had sex with them or whatnot and serving their gods or whatnot and went off, going all the way back then, you know what I'm saying? You know, so like I said, going all the way back to the beginning. All right. You know what I'm saying? Nephilim represents Israelites, sons of God, Israel, man. All right. You know, OK, so the women of the other nations, you don't supposed to marry, man. All right. You can deal with them sexually, but they're like secondary wives, man. They don't get the full benefits of a Hebrew Israelite woman of our nation at the end of the day. All right. So these women to be called what? Concubines, man, of the other heathen nations at the end of the day. And Hebrew and throughout history, we always had, you know what I'm saying? We always had women of the other heathen nations, man, at the end of the doggone day. All right. Look at Jacob. All right. Jacob, our forefather, Jacob, man. All right. Now, Israel came through the seed of Jacob. All right. You so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native American to you so-called Hispanics, man. Now, when Jacob was on the scene, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't no Israelite women at that time, man, because all Israel came out of Jacob, man. So Jacob had to lay down with, you know what I'm saying, the heathen nations of the heathen nations, you know what I'm saying, to carry his seed, man, to bring forth Israel. The 12 patriarchs, mothers wasn't no Israelite women, man. Okay. See, these guys are not spiritual, though. These dudes are not spiritual at the end of the day. Hey, even when you go back to Moses, all right, you know what I'm saying? When Moses had his wife, you know what I'm saying? Moses had his wife, you know what I'm saying? Moses didn't, you know what I'm saying? She was a Hamite. Moses' wife was a Hamite, man. All right. But Moses had 2 sons with the Hamitic woman. And guess what? You know what I'm saying? Moses' sons was from what? The tribe of Levi. Why were they from the tribe of Levi? Why Moses' sons wasn't mixed, man? Why Moses' sons wasn't mixed at the end of the day, man? Why his sons wasn't mixed? Because your nationality is determined through the seed of your father. All right? Okay? So if I lay down with a so-called white woman, which her biblical nationality goes back to Edom, all right, you know what I'm saying? And my son, and I'm dark skinned. So, and you know what I'm saying? I lay down with Edomite, she's red. My son gonna be a little lighter than me. He might be a lot lighter than me. All right. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna be a little darker than his mother. Okay. All right. So he's gonna be a couple of shades lighter than me. Now, let's say my son. All right. Now he may don't look like a prototypical. He may like a Blake Griffin. My son look like a damn Blake. Like, look at Blake Griffin. Prime example. Look at Blake Griffin. Now, Blake Griffin laid down with an Edomite woman. All right. You know what I'm saying? He had an Edomite wife, and you know what I'm saying? And she brought forth his seed, his son, which his son nationality determined through his father, which he's an Israelite. But Blake Griffin's son looked like a straight up Edomite, man. Like blue eye, blonde hair. We've been and bought out examples and pictures and illustrations of that, man. Y'all can go ahead and do that for yourself, man. All right. But the point of the matter is, if doggone Blake Griffin's son that looked like he a so-called white boy, even though his nationality goes back to Israel, because you can't look at the outer appearance and determine whether or not you're a Hebrew Israelite or not. Okay. All right. So when Blake Griffin's son, let's say Blake Griffin's son, when he get old and let's say Blake Griffin, and he like the snow bunnies too. Let's say Blake Griffin's son like snow bunnies too. Now, guess what? Now, Blake Griffin's son almost looks like a so-called white boy. So he lay down with a white woman, all right, a Edomite woman, and she bear forth his seed. Guess what? You know what I'm saying? When that child come out, that child gonna look like a fucking Edomite. So after 2 or 3 generations, you know what I'm saying? The Israelite seed, that the Israelite man that lay his seed with other heathen nation women out of 2 or 3 generations, all right, them kids can be looking like the other heathen nations, but they still had the spirit of Israel. At the end of the day, Israel is you know what I'm saying, the salt of the earth at the end of the day. And the same can be said, Captain Zariak. Just because you're dark skin don't mean you're a Hebrew Israelite. When you go back to the movie Roots, you remember Chicken George? All right, Chicken George. Now remember, Chicken George's mother name was Kizzy. All right. Now when the slave owner sold Kizzy to another slave owner because they found out Kizzy could goddamn read and write, and they sold her behind Kuta Kinte's daughter, sold Kuta Kinte's daughter, which was Kizzy, off to another slave master. All right. And when that slave master, no sooner when Kizzy got dropped off to that plantation, and she, you know what I'm saying, she went in her little headquarters or her little hut or whatever, you know what I'm saying, when she you know what I'm saying, when she went in her little hut, and that's what the fuck they was, I call it, a little hut and shit, you know what I'm saying, little cabin, little rotten, them little ghetto ass cabins Esau had for us and shit, you know what I'm saying, whatever you want to call it, man, guess what, man, you know what I'm saying, she wasn't there 10 minutes, and then Esau came in there and he graped her, man. And when he graped her, he also laid his seed. He planted seed up in her, man. And she carried his seed. And his seed, and his son name was Chicken George. And Chicken George came out looking like he was a damn Israelite, man. Because his mother was an Israelite, but his daddy was the Edomite. So your nationality, once again, goes back to who your father is, man. All right? So Chicken George was a damn chocolate ass fucking Edomite, man. So you got chocolate Edomites out here. So who to say Captain Zarek, you a damn Hebrew Israelite? Even though, I believe the nigga Hebrew Israelite, he Israelite. But for example, do you got records of that? Do you got any accounts of that to prove you're a Hebrew Israelite? So who are you to say that Italian that call in ain't a Hebrew Israelite, man? All right, let me let it play. Let me let this video right here play, man. Let me let this video right here play.
What's your name? Where you call?
I'm gonna let a minute. This is I think about a minute and 20 seconds.
From?
Hey, what's up, Cap? My name's Footer. I'm down in Florida right now, but I'm a New York dude.
Okay, no sweat. You got a question or comment?
Yeah, I got two quick questions for you, man. My whole thing. Let's start as far as on the one end. As far as being saved, right? So I'm a Christian, right? And the way I understand, when I've seen you debate and I've seen you talk, and I got a lot of respect for you, for real. Mm-hmm. And I almost feel if I went by your ideology that I'm not going to be saved. I'm going to be walking around my entire life.
What's your ethnicity?
And never. I'm a Christian. I'm Italian. I'm Italian.
Okay, I'm glad you did that first. You're the first white man I've ever spoke to when I asked what's your ethnicity, and the first thing you said was Christian. But you say you're an Italian white man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm assuming your father's Italian.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You know, in Jeremiah,
he don't know what to tell you because he ain't got the truth, man. He ain't got the light. Yahawashi ain't dealing with him, man.
My 16 and 19, it says, your father's inherited lie.
Man, shut up, Captain Zarek, man. You ain't got the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? Just because you got to go into the history, man. When you talk about the Sicilians, you know what I'm saying? All right, when you talk about going back, what Esau deemed the Dark Ages, you know what I'm saying? The Middle Ages, you know what I'm saying? Not Renaissance, the Byzantine Empire when Jake was ruling. You know what I'm saying? In Europe for over 1,000 years. That was the Southern Kingdom. All right. That was the Southern Kingdom. And you had the Moors that conquer Italy, man. All right. To the point to where, you know what I'm saying? The men, all right, Italy, the Edomites, you know what I'm saying? They were putting Edomite males to death, man. All right. And they was keeping the women for themselves, man. All right. You know what I'm saying? For their pleasures. All right. To the point to where, you know what I'm saying? To the point to where they changed the whole color line, changed the whole color line, man. All right, the Sicilians. So a lot of the Sicilians line goes back to Jake, man. Because Jake, like I said, when Jake took over, Jake was laying down with the women of Edom, man. At the end of the day, man. All right, and it was carrying, they was bringing forth our seed at the end of the day, man. So when you go back and you talk about the Irish and you know what I'm saying, the Irish and the Italians and even the Sicilians, even them damn small hats, some of them small hats are fucking Jake, man. At the end of the day, we got to bring out the 100% truth, man. At the end of the day, bro, you got to bring out 100% truth, and those guys don't have the 100% truth. They're not spiritual, man. All right, they're surface levels Israelites at the end of the day, man. It ain't but so much the elevator. It's so high the elevator is gonna go, man. At the end of the day, man. All right, let's get some scriptures, bro. Let's get some scriptures, man. Shalak, if I was going on a rant or anything of that nature, man. But these dudes, boy, it's evident, man, that you know what I'm saying, these dudes ain't got the truth, man. All right, let's get Romans 9:6, man. Just because you're a Hebrew Israelite, don't mean Yahawashi dealing with you, man. Don't mean you got 100% truth. Don't mean you're of the elect because you're Hebrew Israelite, man. All right, and that's so daggone evident. Romans 9:6. Not as though the word of Yahawashi have taken none effect. For they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. Yeah, they are of the stock of Israel, but they're not of Israel of the elect of Yahawashi, man. All right, they're not the elect. They're not the servants. You're not the friends of Yahawashi, man. You niggas are not the friend of Yahawashi, man. At the end of the day, because you were friends of Yahawashi, you will have the 100% truth, bro. You will understand that you can't go off of color. Everything is spiritual, man. All right, it's through the spirit going to bear a witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahawah according to prophecy, man. All right, and this truth is only going to resonate with Israel, man. This truth is only going to resonate with Israel, man, at the end of the day, man. So when you got another heathen nation, somebody that appear to look like they're another heathen nation, come and approach the camp, and they interested in this word and this truth, man. All right. You know what I'm saying? And they're comprehending. Then 9 out of 10, man, very well, they could be a Hebrew Israelite, man. All right. You know, okay. They could be a Hebrew. If they're not offended in this gospel, they very well could be a Hebrew Israelite, man, at the end of the day, bro. All right. Like I said, not all Israel going to be of Israel. Not all of the elect going to be looking like damn Michael Jordan. You're going to be looking like a prototypical Israelite, man. You're going to have Israel that can be looking like the other heathen nations, man. At the end of the day, you got certain brothers of GMS that may look like a fucking Edomite. But guess what? Their bloodline goes back to the 12 patriarchs of Jacob at the end of the day. All right? Because we spiritual. We understand that an Edomite ain't going to be able to receive this knowledge and understanding of Yahawashi, man. And let's just say hypothetically, man. All right? You know what I'm saying? Let's say a damn heathen try to sneak in this truth and this knowledge and try to perpetrate here Hebrew Israelite. Guess what? Yahawashi still going, you know what I'm saying? He going to separate the wheat from the tares at the end of the day anyway. So Yahawashi going to pluck out a heathen anyway, man. Period, bro. So you dudes, man, you dudes, the spirit of Yahawashi ain't dealing with you cats, bro. You're not St. John 15:15, bro. You dudes are not. Yahawashi ain't talking to you guys, man. It's St. John 15:15, bro. You can't be of the elect. Red letter Yahawashi, man. All right. I start at verse 14. St. John 15:14. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. So that let me know Yahawashi ain't dealing with these guys, because they would have known that. Captain Zarya, you would have known what the sea hip is, nigga. You would have known that not all Hebrew Israelites going to come back looking like, you know what I'm saying, Israel. You're going to have Israel. Israel was scattered amongst all the nations, nigga. Israel's seed is scattered through amongst all the nations, man. Israel loved dealing with women. We love plenty of them. We always, since the beginning of our history, we always dealt with the women of the other heathen nations. That got us fucked up, because not that we dealt with them, it's how we dealt with them, man. Because when Jake was dealing with the other heathen nation women, they were marrying them. All right. Not only was marrying them, all right, you know what I'm saying, and giving them rights and shit, but they also, what Jake was doing was going off. They was being persuaded to be serving the heathen nation guys, man. Like if they woman served damn fucking Jupiter and shit, let's say she served Jupiter, man. And if that Israelite Jake was dealing with that woman, all right, you know how Jake get weak in the fucking mind when it come to goddamn, when it come to that poo nanny, you know how Jake get weak and shit or whatnot, and Jake could give in, and Jake start taking on the philosophies of the other heathen nation women. They start serving their guys and shit. Start telling, no, it was like going back to Ezra, man. Ezra, you know, going back in the book of Ezra, man. Right, Zerubbabel and Nehemiah and them had to fuck Jake up, because Jake was teaching. They wasn't circumcising their kids. They pretty much was following, you know, in the culture of the other. They're following the customs and the culture of the other heathen nations, man. All right, the women that they was dealing with. All right, you know. So if they woman believe in Jupiter, hey, they was worshiping fucking Jupiter, man. All right, they woman believing in worshiping the sun, worshiping the moon. That's what the fuck they was following at the end of the goddamn day. That what made them went off. That's why Yahawashi, you know what I'm saying, you know, punished Jake or whatnot. That's why they went off at the end of the day, man. Not because they dealt with the women of the heathen nation. We can deal with them, but you got to deal with them according to the law, man. All right, you know, like I say, we can have sex with the other heathen nation women. We can't marry them. When I say marry them, you know what I'm saying, far as they don't get the full benefits of an Israelite woman that we marry, man, that Israelite man would marry. Okay. All right. Cause they're non-Israelites, man. All right. You know, okay. All right. They're secondary. Okay. They're secondary women, man, at the end of the day. Now, let me get, let's get, cause this what, let me get Jeremiah. Let me get Jeremiah real quick. All right. Going into, all right, Yahawashi inheritance, man, which is Israel at the end of the day. All right. Now this Jeremiah 12:9, man. This is what Yahawashi had to say about Israel at the end of the day, man. All right. It says, my heritage is unto me as a spectacle bird. Spectacle bird. Now, if you go ahead and you type in spectacle bird, you go to Google and you type in spectacle bird images. You type in images of spectacle bird. And when you see those spectacle birds have different colors, man, on their feathers and shit or whatnot, man. Different colors and shit, bro. They ain't even saying just like the bird black, it's just all black. Nah, man, they have different colors, spectacled bird. So Yahawashi Double compared Israel as a spectacled bird. So what is he saying? He's saying that Israel come in all different shades, man. All different shades at the end of the damn day. Okay, all right. My heritage is unto me as a spectacled bird. The birds round about are against her, the other heathen nations. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. So, you know what I'm saying? The point, you know what I'm saying? The point was made, man. All right. So not all Israel gonna come back looking like Israel. And going back to Numbers 1 and 18, man. All right. For the record, you know what I'm saying? Your nationality is determined through the seed of your father, man. All right. Okay. Not the fucking woman, man. That's what these clowns don't fucking understand, man. All right. And it says, and they, Numbers 1 and 18, and they assemble all the congregation together on the first day, all right, of the second month. And they declare their pedigree, your bloodline, man, your bloodline. That's what your ethnicity, your nationality is determined, all right, from. And it's giving you the answer what your nationality is determined from the Bible, man, from Yahawah, okay? It says, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, not mothers, of their fathers, which determine your nationality, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls, man, at the end of the day, bro. So your nationality determined through the seed of your father, man, not your mother. So ain't no such thing as somebody being fucking mixed, man. All right, you know what I'm saying? You know, you ain't no such thing as somebody being mixed or somebody being biracial. He ain't no fucking You of your father, man. You of your father, man. All right. Now let me get this right here, Ezra. All right, this Ezra. All right, just going back into the history, man. Showing you from the beginning, Jake always be dealing with the other heathen nation women, man. All right. What made Jake went off, like I said once again, like I said earlier, what made Jake go off when they was serving the gods of the heathen nation women that they was dealing with. That what made him went off. Just like with King Solomon. King Solomon, you know, he was dealing with the women of the heathen nation women, his wives, right? You know what I'm saying? Concubines. His wife, I mean, you know what I'm saying, the women of the heathen nations, it wasn't that King Solomon was dealing with them. It was that King Solomon was building altars and temples for the for his wives' gods, man, of the other, you know what I'm saying, the gods that they were serving, man. All right, of their people, man, of their customs. That what made King Solomon went off when he was building temples and gods to the heathen nation women that they served. All right, you know what I'm saying? That what made King Solomon go off. Not that he dealt with them, is the fact that he was dealing with gods of their customs, man. That what made it went off, man. That what made King Solomon go off. All right. Ezra 9, 1 and 2, man. Just you know, example, man, showing you how Jacob always dealt with the other heathen nation women, man. It says, now when these things were done, the princes came to me saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites, all right, you know, talking about Israel, the people of Israel, you know what he's talking about. All right, the subject matter. It says, have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, all right, the Jebusites, all right, the Ammonites, all right, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites, all right, for they have taken of their daughters, see? They have taken of their daughters, all right, for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers have been chief in their trespass. All right, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go into, when you read further down, how Jake wasn't even teaching their kids. I mean, they wasn't holding it. Pretty much, they wasn't keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. They wasn't circumcising their sons, man. You know what I'm saying? They was giving their kids names outside of the Hebrew and shit, man. They like I said, man. You know what I'm saying? Jake was totally fucking going off at the end of the day, man. All right. So when it says, for they have taken, which is, you know, it's going into Israel, the Israelite men, for they have taken of their daughters for themselves, man, and their sons, man. All right. You know what I'm saying? So that tell you right there, man. Jake always dealt, going all the way back in history, he always dealt with the other heathen nation women, man. So you mean to tell me that shit fucking stopped? That shit never fucking stopped, man. Even to this very goddamn day. Jake loved women and we love plenty of them, man. All right, you know? So you can't, so I say that to say this, man. All right, you can't look at a Jake. See, just one thing about, and only great millstone from the Elders Apostles, the bishops on down to us, man. Bring these points out, man. All right, because we have the 100% truth from Yahawah dealing with great millstone. That's how we know it. And all praise and glory and credit goes to Yahawah, man. All right, nevertheless. All right, but the point of the matter is we always bring that point out, man. Because a lot of you dudes, you're narrow-minded. Like I said, you surface level Hebrew Israelites. A lot of you niggas are not fucking spiritual, man. Great millstone, we tell you, this is not a color thing, man. We not no pro-black group at the end of the day. All right, okay? There's not a pro-black group right here. All right, you know what I'm saying? First of all, we prophets of Yahawah at the end of the day. We're one body of Yahawah. So let's start there. All right, okay? So we, like I said, you know what I'm saying? We let you know this ain't no fucking black thing. It's an all black thing. Or you gotta look a specific way. Or if your father, if we ask you what's your nationality of your father? Oh, my dad, my dad, he's from he's Irish, man. My dad's Irish or whatnot. Oh, well, that doesn't automatically mean that his father line goes back to goddamn Esau, man. Because like I said, you had Jake ruling all in got daggone Europe, man. All right, So, you know what I'm saying? His line go back to the 12 patriarchs. His father line go back to Israel at the end of the day, man. You don't know. All right. That's how everything got to go back through the spirit, bro. The spirit gonna bear witness if he an Israelite, man. All right. Because certain things, Israelite move a certain way. All right. You know what I'm saying? Israel have their flavor at the end of the day, man. Scripture tell you, man, you know what I'm saying? Israel, man, we lively, man. We are lively at the end of the day, man. All right, But nevertheless, man, that's the end of my lesson, man. I pray and I hope that it was edifying to the body, hopeful will let. And with that, I want to say shalom to the hopeful let. Shalom.